Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. This is our fifth and last brokerage event on the Horizon Europe co-funded calls between the European Union and the government of India. Today, we bring you another exciting topic. It's about new genomic techniques in the food system. It's a subject which is relevant to both Europe and India. And we are very happy that there will be a possibility to apply together for this call. And as we've done in the previous sessions, we will take you again through the different scopes, modalities of the call, but we will also have scientists and researchers both from Europe and India who will pitch their ideas and reach out for potential partners. We again invite you to use the chat and function for networking purposes. If you have expertise or you have interest in collaborating on this call, please use the chat function to get in contact with your peers. And without any further delay, I would like to now welcome Dr. Manish Rana, who is from the DBT, Department of Biotechnology, International Cooperation Division, for giving the opening remarks to all of us. Dr. Manish Rana, it's a great pleasure to have you with us, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Samrat. Good morning and good afternoon to all, and welcome to this new genomic techniques in food system Horizon Europe Brokerage Event. My name is Manish Rana. I'm scientist with Department of Biotechnology, International Division, and I'm delighted to be part of this event today. As you all know, genomic techniques have revolutionized the way we understand biology and have led the way for new development in many areas, including agriculture and food production. The development of new detection method is essential for ensuring safety and quality of products derived from new genomic techniques. The method can also help in increased transparency, traceability in food system, while also promoting innovation and sustainability. The European Horizon program, which aims to support research and innovation in various fields, including food system, gives an important platform for the Indian PIs researchers to forge a new collaboration with European counterparts. I believe this event will be an excellent opportunity to discuss the potential new genomic techniques in food system, identify challenges, and explore potential collaborations and partnership. We have an excellent distinguished panel of speakers and experts who will share the details of newly launched call, its scope, impact, and modalities of co-funding, and share their insights and experiences. I'm sure that today's discussion will be fruitful and informative. I once again welcome all to this event and look forward to an exciting, productive discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manish, for your very encouraging words. And of course, it's a great collaborative action between DBT and the European Union, especially for this call. And we're very grateful that you were able to join us for the opening remarks. And we're very happy also to see that Tanja Friedrichs from Brussels, Senior Policy Officer, and the driving force behind co-funding calls between the EU and India has joined us. Tanja, very good morning to you. And we would be very happy to also hear from you to address the audience for this very interesting call, which we are going to discuss and present today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samrat, for these nice welcome words, and good afternoon to my dear friend from DBT, Manish, and my colleagues in the delegation of the European Union. I see already Vivek. But foremost, welcome to all the scientists and innovators who are waiting to present their ideas and pitch for this call of proposals, which thanks to the cooperation that we could elaborate with the Department of Biotechnology, the Indian government has facilitated your participation. And we cannot but repeat this very much welcomed step. As Manish said, from the European side, we would also very much like to welcome the fact that we have that possibility to cooperate between the European and the Indian scientific community on such an important topic as genomics for food security. This is absolutely important. This is one of the global challenges where Europe and India have decided to aim at addressing them together. So this is very much to be welcomed, and I see that the number of participants are increasing. So I will let you start and present your ideas, and I hope that from that you will there will be good proposals emerging. I certainly know that today you will have the privilege of hearing the presentation of this call by our expert colleague from Brussels, and later on Dr. Vivek Dham will also explain you the modalities of cooperation. This is a co-funded call. It means that you have to be very attentive both to the conditions from the European side under our program Horizon Europe and those set by the Department of Biotechnology. But foremost, you have to think about good proposals, interesting, responding to the call of the proposal, the impact and the scope. So have an excellent session, and maybe we'll see each other again at the end, but I will certainly listen with great attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tanya, for joining us in the early morning hours from Brussels, and putting this right spirit for today's session. And you already made the perfect introduction to Dr. Vivek Dham, who is the advisor at the Research Innovation Section team at the EU delegation. And Vivek, you are the one who knows this. I think this calls now the best. And please enlighten the audience about the co-funding modalities of this specific call, and we're looking much forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Samrat. Can you just reconfirm my screen and the audio is clear?
Perfect.
Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon. So this is our last session, the brokerage session which we are organizing. So we had put a lot of extensive effort since last 3 months to organize these events, and we hope best proposals to come forward. So today, what I'm going to do is quickly give you the modalities of funding. So this is a joint presentation of DBT and
I think we lost you, Vivek.
Yeah, it seems that Vivek has been problems. Let me just see. Tanya, you are still here?
Can you hear me?
Yes. I think Vivek is back now. Vivek, are you still with us?
He's reconnecting, I think.
Yeah, so we'll just give it a minute or so until Vivek comes back.
Yeah, because we really need Vivek for this joint modalities.
Yes. He holds the keys to this presentation. But
yes.
I think so far we had a very good series of sessions where we have also explained the modalities in the different webinars. But it's always good to Tanya, to go back again and understand very well the details of the modalities. That's very important, right? For successful preparation of a proposal.
Absolutely. You know that I always mention that one cannot listen attentively enough on these conditions. There's always kind of hidden, well, not hidden, but that you may not expect, because it's from two different systems that we want to put together in one consortium. And so that is an important part, but we are there to clarify. And of course, also the way that the call is written, the scope and the impact that we expect, that is also very specific, and that's why it's so precious that you, together with the delegation, organizes this information sessions. Maybe Vivek is back?
So I'm just hearing from Vivek that there are some net problems at his side. And in the meantime, while he's trying to fix it, I would propose that we could maybe go into the next presentation of, because we have our speaker, Jorge David, with us.
Yeah, that's good.
Who could like enlighten us about the scope of this call, and then we could, you know, complement it with Vivek once he's back. I think that would be good. Jorge, would that be okay for you to jump in?
Yes, of course. Good morning, Samrat, and good morning, Tanya, and Dr. Manish, and all the organizers here in this event, and of course the different participants and attendees that are today with us. Yeah, as you mentioned, Mr. Samrat, this event is an important event to understand better the Horizon Europe program, just a little bit, but also the practical approach, practical application that it's the topic of new genomic techniques. So yeah, let me share my screen, my presentation, and I will start to talk a bit about this topic. Okay, so do you see my slides?
Jorge, we are not able to see them. They're like, there's something covering them right now, it looks like.
Okay, so I start again. Do you see the slides now?
Yes, if you put it in full more screen, and maybe if you can close the gallery on the right hand where you see the images of all of us, if you could just minimize that window in the Zoom.
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, I guess we should start with the slides. Is it good for you, Samrat, like this? Because
I'm not seeing them in full screen mode. Jorge, yeah. would you like me to share them, and
okay.
I can? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's do it this way. Then okay.
Sometimes these things happen. So.
yeah. Today's the day where it looks like we are having some glitches, but no problem. Here we are. Is it okay, Jorge? You can see them. Okay.
Yeah.
So just tell me when I have to move the slides. I will do that.
Yeah, okay. Of course. So from my side again, thank you very much for the invitation to join this event and this brokerage event. So where you can find more information, I will explain about this topic, and you can also in the brokerage event to try to find consortia and participants and to start with really excellent proposals. So next slide, please. So just 2 words about where we're coming from. So of course, the umbrella of most of our activities, of course, are in relation with the European Green Deal And the European Green Deal has different branches, different areas, different activities. And one of them is the farm to fork strategy. So I would say that this is one of the inspirations. This farm to fork strategy is one of the inspirations for our for our work in the development of some of the European Horizon Europe topics. Of course, the European Green Deal is dealing with sustainable food systems and focusing on this environmental, social, and economic sustainability. So there is a close connection with the farm to fork, and that's remember when you write the proposals and you start to frame the policy context of the proposal and why you're proposing the specific activities on this aspect. Next slide, please. The farm to fork strategy has some horizontal enablers, and of course, different. I mean, the strategy will try to find a consensus in favor of sustainable food systems. Is looking for cooperation across governance levels in different policy areas. Of course, there is a link with the just transition and this principle of leaving no one behind. There is clear role of the research. It's a clear role of defining on this strategy about the importance of research and innovation in driving this transition, and of course other activities and enablers that will help to implement this farm to fork strategy. So at the end, so it's important to know the policy context that you are dealing with, and just to support the activities of development of any proposal. Next slide, please. In Horizon Europe, the Horizon Europe is the main research and innovation initiative program of the European Union. It's composed by 3 pillars. Pillar 1, more focused to excellent science, more, let's say, a bottom-up approach. The Pillar 2, addressing different clusters. Cluster 1, dealing more with health. Cluster 2, 3, 4, and 6. And this is the cluster 6 is the cluster that this topic, new genomic techniques, is embedded and it comes from. It's important that when you prepare also the proposals, you have in mind what is written about the cluster 6 and the narrative and the messages that you can find about this specific area of work inside the research and innovation program in Horizon Europe. So we are inside the pillar 2 in cluster 6, and of course this is more open to different types of topics: research and innovation actions, coordination and support actions. You can find a lot of different instruments and modalities. And we will see the specific one about this new genomic techniques. And of course, you have the pillar 3 that is more also bottom-up approach and more dealing with, let's say, mainly higher TRL technology readiness levels aspects for some proposals. So at the end, Horizon Europe is trying to tackle climate change, how the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the competitiveness and growth, and of course the international collaboration. This is the reason why we are today here. Next slide, please. So this topic, so you can find it in these links and in the different work programs. So the new genomic techniques topics belongs to the work program 23-24. The last program that we launched in December 2022, last year, just 3 months ago, opening the calls, opening the different activities for the applicants. So all this information is public, and you can find this information online in the European Commission website. So next slide, please. So let's go now to specifically to the topic, new detection methods. traceability, transparency, innovation, and then the food system. We are not only talking about a classical concept of the food chain, more linear approaches, but also the food system, more food systems or holistic view. This topic is a research and innovation action. The budget is 10 million, and we expect around 5 million per project. So in this case, most likely two different projects will be funded under this topic. Next slide, please. Probably most of you know that modifications introduced in NGTs, in new genomic techniques, can in principle be detected using current laboratory analytical techniques. However, when small changes in the genome are introduced by certain NGTs, it is often not possible to confirm if these changes happen by natural mechanisms, by techniques not subject to the GMO legislation, or by new the policy context, as I mentioned before, it's important to know it. I already mentioned a bit the Green Deal and the Farm to Fork strategy. At the end, these activities of research and innovation of these topics are in line and have to be in line with this policy context. So this is important also when I mention, I will repeat it several times, when you write a proposal to make reference to this policy context. At the end, what we want is inspired by the Farm to Fork strategy, the fair, healthy, and environmental friendly food systems. This is what we are aiming at. So at the end, specific in this context, we want to contribute to assure traceability and authenticity, and improving the transparency, and of course promoting the innovation in the area of new genomic techniques. It's a real technological challenge, so it's important. It's important to have this in mind. The expected when you read the topic and you prepare a proposal, you will see an introduction about this policy context. You will see also a section about the expected outcomes, and also about the scope. So it's important to read this very carefully. This is just a summary of the contents, more large, more extended in the work program I showed you before in the previous slides. So the expected outcomes that we are looking for have more reliable detection methods dealing with these new genomic techniques. What we want also is empower the authorities and to force the authorities and developers and agri-food operators, of course, of the food chains and the food systems as a whole for promoting and having this authenticity and traceability of products obtained through new genomic techniques. So it's important to have more transparency and traceability in terms of tracking and tracing in both directions of the chain about this kind of products. Of course, the consumer is important. The consumer is the final client, let's say, and the expected outcome is also to be able to have informed consumer choice. So the consumer can have more informed choices if they have if the market, let's say, is more transparent and traceability, and there is more traceability across the food chains. And of course, this technological topic, technology is really engaged and involved and needed. And yeah, of course, innovation. So we're looking for new ideas and innovation in the food systems linked to these new genomic techniques. So at the end, there is an impact. I mean, this outcomes are connected to an impact that is more sustainable, healthy, and inclusive food systems delivering co-benefits. And here the concept of the word of co-benefits means that when you're developing something that is helping, for example, to tackle food fraud or traceability, you are also at the same time helping and having an impact in other benefits, for example, as I mentioned, to consumers for having them more informed choices. So this is the policy context important before to know them, to know all the aspects in relation with this topic, and the outcomes that are written in the specific topic. So next slide, please. So what's the scope of this topic? So we're looking to study, to examine in innovative ways and or specific markets that can allow for the distinction, as I mentioned at the beginning, between products resulting from new genomic techniques subject to the GMO legislations and products that are not subject to the GMO legislation. So trying to have techniques, technologies to differentiate between both of them. In the proposals working on this topic, have to implement also methods that should be assessed on pure products as well, on mixtures, or typical mixtures that you can find on food, and this is open to the applicants. We are not prescribing this, or of feed products in the markets. So you have to use these different food products to assess the methodologies. Proposals should always include plant-based products, and may include also animal and or microorganism-based products. In this case, as we are talking about very technological topics, also could also include digital, virtual, or artificial intelligence modeling aspects, along with the detection methods, different alternatives. So trying to see if these activities can help them. And also the proposal should develop and validate standardized methodologies and contribute to future standardization processes. This is encouraged, because at the end, if we are developing or the proposals are developing new technologies on this field, it's important that also these technologies are recognized and standardized for the common good. So keep in mind that this is a RIA, so it's a RIA research and innovation action. So we are starting probably in low TRLs, maybe 2, 3, but the idea is to, at the end of the project, of the duration of the project, the proposal reach the technology readiness level between 4 and 5 at the end of the project. So the cooperation with the GRC, the Joint Research Center in the European Union and the European Network of GMO Laboratories is encouraged. And of course, we cannot forget that it's important to seek for synergies. I mean, cooperation and synergies with similar topics that were ongoing projects that were funded in the past. Here in previous work programs, 21, 22, the Horizon Europe work programs 21, 22. As for example, this Horizon Cluster 621, Zero Pollution, that is also a project dealing with new genomic techniques and technologies for that, but in the area of bio-based products. So it's important. I mean, today it would be very strange if we work on silos without no connecting with other researchers and no connecting different projects. And that's what we are trying to encourage, of course. So the proposals define in the text they propose, they submit these ideas of how to engage and look for synergies and capitalize, use results of previous projects or ongoing projects. That collaboration is really, very important. And of course, the international cooperation, that's one of the reasons, of the main reason why we are today here. So I think that's with this, I already gave my overview. Thank you for helping me with sharing the slides, Samrat. And my pleasure to be with you and I wish you all the best, submitting excellent and good proposals to this topic, and when you prepare different consortia, the applicants are watching us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jorge David, for first of all being very flexible and taking over the slot of Vivek. But I think this goes both together. The scope is something which is really important to understand, as you said, the context, the background, the policy, but also what exactly the outcome should be. And so we're very happy that you could present it to us. We can also share your presentations. We will upload them on our website, so you can later, of course, go and download them as PDFs and look again into what Jorge David just has explained to you. And we see that Vivek is back. Vivek, we missed you, and happy that you are back to now also tell us about the modalities of this call.
Yeah, but just before going to modalities, there are a couple of questions for George. You are still there? Yeah,
okay, let's bring,
I just got some message questions on WhatsApp. So the first one is TRL level on 4 and 5. So because specifically this is a biological processes and technology, so it's very difficult in general for the researchers to assess where is the starting TRL and where is. So for this specific call, because it is related to genome thing, is there any specific redefine or any specific guidelines on TRL?
Yes, in fact, the Horizon Europe program, in one of their guidelines or annexes, it's described what's a specific meaning of technology readiness level from 1 to 9. And I would say, for example, that technology readiness level 2 means that you just formulated a concept, a technology concept, and 3 is more experimental proof of this concept. 4 is that you have validated the technology in a lab, in a laboratory. And 5, for example, it's when you validate the technology in a relevant environment element. So you can find in the Horizon Europe program the specific description of these TRLs.
Yeah, thanks. My slides also includes that. I will also share with the participant. One more point is about the international cooperation is encouraged in this particular call. So in this context, what kind of a dimension or expectations are there from international partners in this particular call? Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's true that at the end, it's each proposal, each consortium has to, let's say, focus first on the specific outcomes and the scope of the topic. Then, of course, this is really important as well to see the budget. We are talking about around 5 million euros per project funded at the end, approximately. So these are the, let's say, the two criteria that you can use. I mean, normally you have to look for a good balance between different partners that have complementarities and on their roles and on their technology capacities, and combine this with a maximum budget. In this case, 5 million that you can have. So it depends. Sometimes the consortium can be around between 6 and 8 partners. Sometimes the consortium can be between 10 and 12 I mean, it's difficult to say from my side. I can give a recommendation, but of course you have to balance and to assess the impact, the scope, and the budget, and the different roles and complementarities that have this consortium.
Yeah. And the last question regarding, because this is related to GMO and plant genomics. So any ethical guidance other than the regular guidance are given on the horizon? Is there any specific guidance for the ethical clearances?
Any specific guidance on what, sorry?
On ethics.
I mean, yes, in the context of the Horizon Europe rules, let's say, and the programs, you can also find these horizontal elements as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm done from my side. Thanks a lot. It's very clear answers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jorge. And Vivek, let's go on with you.
Yeah, I will try this time. I hope the net is more stable, and I will have an. Okay, so can you please confirm the full screen, Samrat?
So I'm not able to see. Now I'm seeing it. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So admissibility, consortium formation, regulatory and ethical considerations, IPR. Hello. Yeah, Samrat, are you? I'm audible.
There's a delay in you.
Yeah, I saw that the net is bit. Maybe I will switch off my camera so that gives you a better. Yeah. So this is what I will just cover in next 15-20 minutes. So the call is already open and it will close on 12th of April 2023. My colleague has already explained the scope and the impact of the call, which is anticipated, and he also explained what the research and innovation action stands for. So basically, I will urge all the participants that for any legal document, any official call text document, you should refer only and only to funder and tender portal, because this is the only site where the information is valid. Even you will find a lot of interpretations, all the links across internet for different, but this is the only legal document and the text which is available, and it should be referred from here. No other documents and links should be considered when you are preparing and referring to the scope and impact of the call. So the information about the co-funding for DBT is already available on the DBT website. So Manish ji and Abhishek ji had already extensively worked on this particular document. It is very nicely prepared. Everything has explained, but still if you have any clarifications, we will be more than happy to help you out. So who can participate? Basically, Horizon Europe by default is open to almost all countries. So the entity who is able to execute or able to solve the problem and define in the scope of the call is basically eligible to be partner into the call, into the consortium. So it could be small, big, or SMEs, startups, industry, organizations, universities, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, basically anyone who has in a capacity to execute a research and innovation action is most welcome to be part of this consortium. The government of India also encourage all type of entities. It could be central, state government supported organizations. It could be public or private academic universities, research institutions, R&D labs. The government of India is also encouraging participation of private industry, but on voluntary basis. The Horizon Europe proposal eligibility, I will repeat probably this quite a few times, because these are multilateral programs. Okay, so it is not about the bilateral, it is a multilateral program. So this is a basic eligibility conditions. the consortium should have at least minimum 3 legal entities from 3 different European member states. So this is a prerequisite, okay? At least that one entity should be from member state, the European member state, and 2 entities from member state or associated countries. Here is the list of 27 European member state, and there are associated countries. They are not part of the European Union, but they are associated with the Horizon Europe. So you can pick up from the 16 countries. So normally the Norway and Israel is very strong partner with India. You can also include those people in a consortium. So Indian proposal eligibility is very well explained in the DBT website, but this is not a eligibility criteria for Horizon Europe. But if you want a DBT's co-funding, then one or more entities should be participate or highly encouraged in a proposal. So out of that, if it is more than one entity, there should be one publicly funded entities is mandatory to be part of that. So the DBT to receive the funding, and the consortium should look like a minimum 3 European member state or associated country, one or more Indian entities, and you can add more non-European countries. I will come to that list later on. Basically, this is the additional eligibility context should be read from the call text itself. So my colleague has already mentioned this specific call. It is not about really basic research, is more towards the development of technology. So we are anticipating at the end of the project should achieve TRL 4 or 5. So please read the eligibility conditions very carefully. So who is
I think we again lost Vivek.
Yeah.
Vivek, now you're back. We just lost you.
Thanks. So which slide I should go back? Could you please confirm?
It was just the last 10 seconds we had lost you.
Okay. So this is the eligibility conditions which is mentioned in the work program and as well as the funder and tender portal. So please go through it very carefully. So who is eligible for European Horizon Europe funding? Basically 27 member states, 16 associated countries, and 120 low or middle income countries are eligible for Horizon Europe funding. That is, the European Commission will directly fund those entities. But there are 13 or 14 countries which we consider as a emerging or higher economy or developed countries are not automatically funded. So these are the list: US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Korea, China, India, you name it. These are the big countries, big economies. They are not directly co-funded by the European Commission. So there is an agreement between Government of India and European Commission, and I will only focus today on co-funding modalities because there are other exceptions way of getting funding, but today we will only focus on co-funding. So the Government of India co-funding conditions already mentioned on their website. The proposal should be submitted to European Commission, as well as the same proposal should be submitted to the DBT. The co-funding should be, the proposal will be evaluated by both the funding agencies, and positively evaluated proposal will be, both the sides positively evaluated proposal will be considered for co-funding. So the Indian who is not receiving the European Commission funding, but they will be funded by Government of India, will not sign European grant agreement, European Commission's grant agreement. The overall duration of the call is 3 to 4 years, depending on the requirement of the topic. So who is eligible for DBT funding? Basically, public, private, academic institutions, research organization, universities, national or state labs. Basically, those who are from research and academic backgrounds are eligible for Government of India DBT funding. They should have well-established public finance management system. The industry can participate in the project proposal, but the DBT will not co-fund, so they have to bring their own funding. This co-funding is explicitly restricted only for the 5 calls which are listed on the DBT's website. So what the Government of India is funding, actually, basically it is 100% grant in aid. So this is a classical R&D project funding. So the DBT will fund as per the requirement of the call. So as per requirement of the project. So there is no cap as such on the funding, but make sure considering your workload, you will demand the grants. So what is eligibility cost? Capacity, capital expenditure, manpower, consumables, travels. These are very standard, heads, cost heads will be funded by the DBT, and it will be as per the governments of India's rule. So admissibility, as I mentioned already, so this proposal should be jointly developed by European, Indian, and other partners. It will be first put forward in Horizon Europe template. It has part A and part B. I will come to that part later. So the first submission to the proposal should be on funder and tender portal of European Commission. Once you submit, and this task should be normally done by the European coordinator. Once that is done, within 7 working days, you will submit the same proposal along with annexures of financial annexures, which DBT had already given in their website, to DBT via email. Okay. So this is the submission, the first submission to the European Commission on funder and tender portal, part A and part B, and same proposal along with the financial details to the DBT on this specific email address. So the consortium formation, so this is most difficult and challenging task because these are multilateral projects. So you need to have more than 3 and 4 partners. So today's event is one of the opportunity for you to identify potential partners to form the consortium. But apart from this, there are several platforms, there are several initiatives by European Commissions and member state to organize the people to come together. And these are the EURAXESS India also provides the support. There is a NCP network, regional offices, and in specific, if you go to the specific call text, there is also partner search option given below where you can express the interest of your project idea. The consortium formation, again, I repeat, 3 legal entities from 3 different European member states. Out of that, 1 should be from European member state. Additional legal entities could be from Europe, from India, and from non-European countries. The project proposal should be multidisciplinary, cross-sectoral, cross-border participation is highly encouraged. Make sure the gender balance is taken care into the consideration at the time of consortium formation. The project should be coordinated by the European PI only. And if there are more than 1 legal entity from India, so the people should nominate 1 legal scientific advisor, the coordinator to the DBT. So he or she will communicate directly with the government of India. Legal, regulatory and ethical conditions. This is most important part because these are the projects related to plant, human, GMO plants. So we had experienced considerable delay because the Indian PI don't pay an attention in this very regulatory aspects. So I urge those people who had a sufficient understanding background on this particular regulatory and ethical consideration, they should take a part, they should be a lead scientific coordinator. Okay. So please go through the DBT website very carefully because past projects are delayed because of this lack of understanding from the PI. So again, as my colleague mentioned, these are the TRL level, the technology oriented projects are there. So IPR is very crucial part. It's not only for Indians, but Europeans. So the DBT strongly, as well as European Commission strongly encourage all the consortium to pay attention to IP arrangements at the time of consortium formation only. So these are the guidelines has been given explicitly by the European Commission on the portal as well as the DBT on their website. So the proposal will be in 2 parts, part A and part B. So part A is more structured form, which the information will be given will be fed by the European coordinator, and part B is more scientific proposal, and then there are different annexes will be available. So types of beneficiaries or participants. So basically those who receive the European Commission funding are considered as a beneficiary. They will sign the European grant agreement. Indians entities will be considered as an associated partner. So what does it mean? Associated partners, they will receive Government of India's funding in Indian rupees. They will not sign European grant agreement. They will be termed as associated partners. So make sure the European coordinator should be informed on day one that your participation should be as an associated partner. The Indian entities can lead the work package or partner, but they cannot coordinate the entire project. So you need to have a participation identification code. I will come to that point later. Again, the consortium agreement is the only document the Indian and Europeans will sign. So this is what the part A will look after, the budget part. So there is a specific associated partner, columns are there. Indian entities don't have to give the budget details. They will only give a lump sum amount which they will be requesting to the DBT. So you will only feed the lump sum amount, the total amount which you think is necessary to execute your work in a euro. The European coordinator will feed that information in part A. So evaluation will be done in two parts. First evaluation will be done under the Horizon Europe evaluation criteria by peer review process. So the the entire regulations for evaluation will be as per the European Commission. So the three criteria will be used: excellent, impact, and implementation. Once the project proposal is positively evaluated by the European Commission, that proposal will be communicated to DBT. So they will do a light evaluation from Indian side. If the proposal is positively evaluated by Government of India as well, so they will intimate the Indian entities that the funding is available for them. So time to grant, basically this is the timeline. So the proposal will close on 12th of April. Within 3 to 4 months, the evaluation will be complete, and it will take 2 to 3 months for the grant signature. So overall time from closing to the grant agreement, it takes 8 months for a European Commission. So we anticipate Government of India will also complete the entire process within that 8 months and to start the project on time. So these are different websites, platforms where you can find different partners. I will leave the presentations with you. So again, the European, entire application system is electronic. So you need to have a login ID. So there is the guidelines are given. So again, your institute needs a participation identification code. This is almost quite a number of Indian entities already participated in Horizon 2020 has this peak number, but there is a explicit information and guidelines available on the website. We are more than happy to help you out in this matter. But if you are not applying for the project proposal, I urge all the experts from India to register themselves as an European Commission's Horizon Europe experts. This is very important that we need international experts across the globe to evaluate the proposals. There is a specific, guidelines how to register an experts are available on the website. But this is not a free of cost job. What you do is for the publication. This is a paid job. European Commission pay handsome, amount for evaluation. 3,000 to 4,000 euros per evaluation is paid. So I urge those people who are not applying for the project proposal should consider to be an expert. And this is one way to be part of the Horizon Europe process to understand it. So this is the team since last 8 months. We are working on the co-funding and we will be more than happy to help you out with any questions you have for the funding modalities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for once again going through the different modalities and explaining the parts the Indian scientists, the team has to do, and what is expected from the European side. We have a question in the chat regarding the size of the team, like for Indian partner, like what should be is there any kind of definition, or is there like a kind of a rule?
So yeah, so basically these are, as I mentioned, these are multilateral projects or the consortiums. So George already mentioned, on an average per project, you will have 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, depending on the requirement of the project, the size of the consortium. Now comes to India, how many Indians to be part of it, okay? It could be one public entity that is sufficient to qualify the DBT's funding. But if there is more than one entities, they are most welcome, because that is what the DBT encourage. That also gives the additional impact to Indian context as well, and the share of Indian in the project also increases. So it could be more than one, it could be 1, 2, 3, depend on the work's requirement or the size of the work package. So there is no restriction. It is up to the consortium to include the as many as people, but make sure your work and the skills are justifying the proposal.
Okay, great. Yeah, I don't see any further questions. So in that case, we will also make the presentation of Dr. Vivek available on the website. In our follow-up email to you, you will get the information, and of course the recording of this session, so you can go back and maybe some things which we have, you have not still you have some questions, you can maybe look into that, or you can also send, of course, an email to us if there are any questions come up throughout the process. Vivek, when is the deadline of the call?
12th of April. So the call will specifically close on 12th of April, 17 hours Brussels time. Okay. So the submission should be before that. And the DBT had given 7 working days after the closure of the call for Indian PI to submit the same identical proposal with the budget through email. So the specific email address has been available on the DBT website, and the proposal should be sent to DBT as well.
Vivek, could you in the chat also share the link to the DBT website as well for the?
Surely, I will do that. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Vivek. And I think we can now go to the next part of the session, which is the flash presentations of our researchers, both from India and Europe, who have been invited to do a pitch and reach out to potential partners. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of them. Good afternoon and good morning to you. And before we welcome the first speaker, please, there is a time limit on the presentations. Please keep the 7 minutes time limit in mind. I will have to time it because that's what I've been told by Dr. Vivek. He's the one who keeps always an eye on the time. Now let's welcome Dr. Sean Mayes from the International Center for Research in the Semi-Arid Tropics, joining us from Hyderabad. Dr. Sean, good afternoon to you, and the floor is yours.
Are you sharing from your side the presentation, or shall I do it?
As you like.
From your side, it's probably easier as well.
Okay, just hold on. Let me just open it quickly. And okay, I have it here. Could you just confirm this is your slide? Yes.
Yes.
That's your presentation. Okay.
That's great. So thank you very much for the opportunity to talk a little bit about what we're doing and what we might be able to offer to this call. In particular, I look after accelerated crop improvement, and we have, obviously, we have activity in India in particular, but also in Africa. And we're an international organization, although we are eligible for DBT funding. Next slide, please. So we're a non-profit, non-political organization established as part of the CGIAR. And we've had 50 years of experience of working primarily in semi-arid tropics. So really what we're trying to develop is prosperous, food secure and resilient dryland tropics. And we do it through a very integrated approach. And I'll talk a bit more about why that might be relevant here. And really our aim is to reduce poverty, hunger, malnutrition, and obviously the effects of environmental degradation in the dryland tropics. Next slide, please. I look after accelerated crop improvement. So we have 3 programs. We have a program on resilience, resilient farms and farming and food systems, which is run by ML Jat. and also one on enabling systems transformation. And we work very much together. So the Resilient Farms is looking at a landscape level, and particularly the enabling systems transformation is looking at impact, value chains, how do we communicate, how do we get farmers to potentially take up new ideas. The section I look after has a number of clusters, from crop breeding, crop protection. There's been a lot of genomics work, particularly by Rajiv Varshney, who was here before. Trait engineering, a gene bank underpins a lot of what we do, and then crop physiology, and also we have an interest in seed systems, both in India and in Africa. Next one, please. Where I think this is particularly relevant in terms of what we do is that we do have ongoing work on gene editing, as well as straightforward GMO material. And we do have potentially material that could be used in terms of testing some of these traceability approaches. So in India, type 1 and type 2, SDN1 and SDN2, are essentially counted as non-GMO once all evidence of foreign DNA has been segregated away. And we are currently looking at, with a lot of colleagues, looking at a proposal on gene editing, an international centre, and that's currently with Government of India. Next slide, please. On top of that, we do a lot of work on genomics, as I've already mentioned, particularly in crops which are resilient, so focused towards dry lands, and physiology and modelling, so both in terms of where things can be planted, but we also have the ability to look at large numbers of samples and record those, as well as develop rapid phenotyping approaches. Next slide, please. Where I think we can start to contribute is not only do we have material, so for instance, we have a gene-edited version of phytoene synthase, which we basically just use as a control. We have material that essentially is pretty innocuous in terms of the supply chain, but could be used as a test case in trying to trace material. We work both in India and Africa, and in particular in Kenya, there's interest in using gene editing. And we also work in terms of producing new varieties that would go through seed systems. And essentially, that's another part of the supply chain in terms of how do you monitor what's in seed systems? How might that have an impact in terms of your overall traceability and ability to trace things? Next slide, please. And certainly in terms of how we work very much with groups of farmers and farm-based organizations to work through that entire supply chain, including processing. So we do quite a lot of processing work, which again is an opportunity potentially to see how traceability works. And obviously that goes through into terms of food markets. And again, in India, essentially type 1 and type 2 events are acceptable. Next slide, please. And really that's it. So I think we have a lot of technology. We have the ability to make GEs. We are working on genome editing. And we do expect to have a reasonably, we're hoping certainly to have a center in the near future, but we do have that quite significant activity already. But we do have the integrated supply and manufacturing chain. So, I mean, if we are looking at traceability, if we are looking at how do you follow these things, we have the ability to work through all of those stages. So in terms of this proposal, while we're interested, though obviously with the situation in India being slightly different in terms of legislation, we are interested in that. And obviously export markets from India may also have, may be impacted, particularly if they're towards Europe. But we can also supply a test case. So in terms of actually practically taking something that would be acceptable out into the environment, out into supply chains, and seeing what can be done in terms of using these testing techniques. And I think for us, I mean, it's still interesting in terms of the science, but I think that's one thing that we can offer at a fairly reasonable scale and in a number of countries potentially. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shan. A very interesting topic, and good luck with finding potential partners for this call. We move to our next flash presenter, which is Mr. Jaime Kamalic. He's a project manager, international group at the Swedish Environmental Research Institute, joining us from Stockholm, Sweden. Very good morning to you. The floor is yours. Could you kindly unmute your mic? We're not hearing you. At least I'm not able to hear. Vivek, could you confirm?
Yeah, I can't hear.
We cannot hear. Mr. Jaime, is it okay if we move to the next presenter in the meantime, so you can try to fix your audio? Thank you so much. Okay. Then I would ask Dr. V. Arunachalam, who is joining us from Goa. Are you with us? Yes. Okay. He's a principal scientist at the Central Coastal Agricultural Research Institute, Goa. Very good afternoon, sir. Could you share your screen? Seems we also are facing here an audio problem. Dr. Arunachalam. For me, it's frozen. Vivek,
yeah,
are you also fit?
No, I can hear you clearly. Now, I think Jem is already back with his audio. So
okay.
Maybe Dr. Arunachalam can fix his audio and he can take over
sure.
the presentation.
Good, yeah. Jem, are you able now to use your mic?
I hope so.
Yes, perfect. Okay.
Great. Okay. Thank you,
okay.
Mr. Kumar. Can you share my presentation just to avoid all?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just give me a second. Just opening it. So, and just share the screen.
Great. Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Jaime Kamalic. My background is in marine research. I have a PhD in marine research, and now I am in the international group at the Swedish Environmental Research Institute, based in Stockholm. I'm very happy to be here. My role in the institution is to promote and share research between our institution and different other instances in different parts of the world. Just to say apart, we have an office. IVL, the Swedish Environmental Research Institute, has already an office in India, and we are very active in our collaboration. Just very fast about the institute, we promote sustainability in the environment, sustainability in society, and sustainability in the transition of energy. So those are the main topics that we work on. And I have to tell you that the eDNA, or the DNA research in the institute, is very new. But when if we can go to the next slide, when we saw the call, we were very interested in participating, and also to find any collaborators or to join a proposal. We have vast experience on EU proposals, and we have collaborated in multiple research programs inside the EU and Horizon calls. And definitely the topic and the idea of promoting and giving a tool for customers' choice on GMO products totally fits in our idea, in the idea of the institute. So if we go to the next one, please. When I talked to my colleague Matt Stoppen, and I explained the purpose of the call and the topic, he was of course very interested. We have to say that it's not exactly our main focus. Like I said, we start the eDNA laboratory very early, approximately like 2 or 3 years ago. But he has vast experience on DNA research. This is the figure that I'm presenting here is taken from one of his work. And as he explained to me, in this specific research topic he did, he identified mutation on plants, and he could track back the mutation and show the phenotype of this mutation in different crops. So as he told me, we have the capacity to contribute on sequencing and genomic sequencing, screening for genetic modifications, and this can make it possible on the detection of GMO products. And also we have some experience in monitor natural seed banks in soil and in agricultural fields in terms of restoration. We are currently working on a project where we are tracking back how the environment is recovering from anthropogenic impact using the seed banks in the soil. So if we can go to the next one. So yeah, like I said, our use of eDNA is basically in biodiversity studies. We have we have work in restoration and biodiversity mapping, but our laboratory in collaboration with Göteborg University has also the capacity to offer the novel whole genomic sequencing, assembly and annotation, and whole genome resequencing of individuals, for example, on population studies. So in addition to our initial application of eDNA, we can offer also these other possibilities. And if we go to the next one, some of the topics that I would like you to take with you, or the keywords of this small talk, it's these 6 topics that we can offer in a consortium or in a collaboration. We can do genetic diversity, we can do genetic screening, we can do the whole genome sequencing, environmental DNA analysis. We can help on biodiversity monitoring and also in bioinformatics. And of course, I don't have a whole background in genetics, but my colleague, Matt Stoppen, he has a whole lab established on genomics, and he can well answer any type of questions that you have. And my last one, if we can go to my very last one, I would just like to thank you, and hopefully we can have some communication after and participate in a consortium. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jaime, for presenting the expertise your institute has, and also like we will share the the slide with the contact details after with all the participants, so they could reach out to you in case they would be interested to form a consortium. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we go to our next, back to Dr. Aruna Chalam. Dr. Aruna.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, let me share this.
Try to switch off your video just to get better bandwidth.
Yeah, thank you.
And would you like me to share your screen? Your presentation, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I have shared already. Is it visible?
Yeah, just if you can put it in full screen mode.
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity. My title is DNA Biosensors for Authentication and Quantification of Food Pigments. I am working at Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Central Coastal Agriculture Research Institute at Goa. The topic is food color market is a growing market. In 2018, there was only $3.8 billion of food pigment industry was there. But it's growing very fast at a rate of 5.7% and expected to reach around $5.12 billion. And we need to authenticate the pigments used in the food, especially when they are natural or approved or unapproved synthetic pigments. What is the source of the pigment, which species it comes from, and we need a rapid estimation tool. So coming to the background, we colored food for two reasons. One is a healthier food than the normal white color food, and it is also appealing to the eye, so the market price is more for color. There are a lot of pigments coming from plants like industry, because we don't also biology. There's a red color, it is a beta cell from fruit or others or dragon fruit, and they are in very amounts. We need to how we can estimate. Normally, there are conventional methods where we sample this collector and extract and PLC spectrophotometers and express the value of the pigment in microgram per gram. But we propose a method where we use very little quantity, click near the object, use machine learning or artificial intelligence to detect whether it's natural pigment or synthetic pigment, and use a DNA sensor to understand the value of the pigments. What species is used in extraction of pigment, and it's a non-destructive and rapid and easy method. The project description is we need to identify the genes governing the biosynthesis of the pigments, identify the discriminating DNA markers and convert them into biosensors to quantification and identify the species source. And we also need to have a tool which can discriminate synthetic from the natural pigments. Expertise I can offer, I have a postdoc from EURAXESS and diploma in bioinformatics and big data computing certificate and 26 years of experience, and we have standardized Android app-based quantification of beta cyanine pigments. And we need expertise mainly in DNA biosynthesis, biosensor and synthetic pigment prediction methods, artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques, and also DNA barcoding and food chemistry. So we can have operational and applied genomics also. And to introduce to the collaborators, we have developed a DNA marker discovery software, which converts the random markers like RAPD, ISSR to SCAR markers, which received a recognition of top innovators in the DST FICCI Lockheed Martin program. And we have also published it in International Journal of Genomics. And we worked out the pigment using 100
Dr. Arunachalam, we are not able to hear you anymore, and also your voice has been, very much breaking throughout the presentation. I would just say that we will share your contact, your slide with the fellow participants, and you can also, of course, reach out in the chat to, and the participants can reach out to you. With this, I would say we kind of conclude the presentation of Dr. Arunachal and move on to our next speaker, which is Miss Barbara Caballero Alonso. She's with us. Hi, Barbara. Welcome back again.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, and please kindly share your screen, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you see my screen correctly?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So hi, everybody. My name is Barbara. I work for the VisiLab group in Spain. I did a flash presentation in the previous brokerage event too. Yeah, the second one. And efficient, trustworthy artificial intelligence. But I didn't want to miss this opportunity because environment is one of our fields of expertise as well. So we are a research group based on the higher technical school of industrial engineering in Spain, for a university. And we work with computer vision and artificial intelligence. So we create tools based on computer vision and artificial intelligence with applications in fields such as medicine, the environment, security, health, psychology, and others. Some of the fields are here. So security, video surveillance, biometrics, weapon detection, violence detection, and others through standard cameras. And space, we do artificial intelligence on board. For medicine, we use any sort of image. So X-rays, ultrasound, all sorts of scans. And our systems can produce diagnosis and prognosis as well. Digital pathology, microscopy images, and others. We're going to focus on the environmental side today. So biology and environmental, real-time monitoring of water quality, microscopic image analysis in biology, detection of diatoms, cyanobacteria, and pollen. And we also have psychology applications like detection of moods by means of facial expressions. We can detect happiness, anger, pain, stress, and others. Relevant events, we have coordinated 2 European projects already, which is APAT and Eyes of Things. We also took part in the European project Envision, Maestro, and Bonsais, promoters of the European Society of Digital and Integrated Pathology, and the creators of the startup Ubotica in Spain. With APAT, it was an FP7 European project, 11 partners. And as I said before, we were coordinators. Eyes of Things, age 20 European Commission project, 8 partners, and we were coordinators, embedded vision and deep learning. I'm going very fast because I have a lot of information to go through. I hope that's okay. All the links are in the last slide. Now let's talk about the environmental side with the Aqualities project. So we created automatic identification and classification of diatom project. So what we did was monitor quality of water, in this case was in European rivers and other water bodies, basing our studies in diatom detection. As you probably already know, diatoms can be used as bioindicators of water quality, and our system can collect the water automatically, detect the diatom, classify it. These are some of the images. Also, sorry, going back to this one, we have done it with diatoms and also with cyanobacteria, but these can be applied to other microorganisms as long as we have images to work with. Also, as worth mentioning, we created a low-cost automated digital microscopy platform for automatic identification of diatoms. Again, so far it's been done with diatoms, but it can be applied to other microorganisms. Now, this microscope is quite interesting. Micro Hickory 3D is a DIY microscopy platform and is very, very cheap. So this is also portable. So it'll be very useful to study water quality in remote areas and also in regions with low income. This is the microscope itself. And these are the next slides are just images performed by obtained by this microscope, just so you can get an idea of the quality. So here, for example, we have diatom detection. As you can see, the system has already identified individuals. And here, diatom classification. We identified up to 100 different diatom species automatically. Also cyanobacteria. And let's quickly talk about the European Commission FP7 AppyFresh project. Our team, VitaLab, was subcontracted for this project. So developing European standards for bee pollen and royal jelly, for quality, safety, and authenticity. The main objectives of this project were to develop European standards for bee pollen and royal jelly, the establishment of the health relevant criteria for pollen and royal jelly, and also, very important one, the development of an accurate methodology for the determination of pollen and honey origin authenticity, which was a claim made by European Association of Beekeepers in the past. We were provided with pollen microscopic images and had to detect the grains and classify them. Also, we had to make difference between fake pollen and real pollen. So this is it. Thank you. I left all the links here. And as I said before, if you give us images, we can process and use our algorithms. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for presenting the expertise your lab has. And we are now coming to the last speaker of today's flash presentation. And if I look at the time, I can see that there is a bit of time left. So in case some of you who are now attending would like to present themselves, their expertise, maybe even an idea, we could accommodate one or two ad hoc presentations. So kindly either raise your hand, first come first basis, or indicate it in the chat. But we go now to Dr. R. Salvarajan, Director at the National Research Center for Banana in Tamil Nadu. A very good afternoon to you, Professor Salvarajan, and kindly share your screen, or would you like me to share it?
Yeah. I will share. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you very much. Could you see?
It's still not, now it's, yeah, it's there. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My topic is genome surveillance methods and evaluation of procedure for the identification of gene edits, transgenes, transposons, and integrated pararetroviral elements in the genomes of Musa species. And in fact, we work about these things in our center. And as you know that endogenous pararetroviruses, EPRVs, that are observed during the genome analysis in genomes of crop plants, which are found specifically infected by pararetroviruses. The viral sequences are found in genomes as single copy or multiple allelic copies. Like, sometimes 1,000 copies are seen in Petunia and Nicotiana, but of course in banana, you get two to three copies. And episomal form of virus emerges after many rounds of homologous recombination. Sometimes two homologous recombination under stress conditions, it can give spontaneously gives rise to the episomal virus that could able to infect. And if you see in banana streak virus is the first virus found to be integrated into the plant genome, and it is called pararetrovirus. Yes, this does not have integrase as retroviruses has. And it's a double-stranded DNA virus. It has got reverse transcriptase, which can turn into a little more than the length of RNA. So we have published in about bad viruses in 2016. That time only just 32 viruses were there. Now in 2023, when we were again giving a review, it's around 68 viruses. You can see banana streak virus genome integration in the banana genome is considered as an ancient event of gene transfer, and probably this evolved along with the banana actually. So the pure B genome containing diploids and triploids are known to express the episomal virus, whereas in triploids having one or two A genome, sorry, here it's given B, it's A genome, may help in the expression of episomal form of the virus, like, banana streak Mysore virus in Puvan. In India, we have banana streak Mysore virus, banana streak OL virus, and banana streak Goldfinger virus. It's widely present in India. And the integration events in the genome of indigenous cultivars needs to be checked, developing a DNA surveillance methods. And in fact, here what you see is in the cultivar Pahang, which contains 24 loci, spanning 10 chromosomes, these integrations are there. So similarly, already the SRAD group, they have done for three viruses, BS-OLV and BS Mysore and BS IMV. They have found that the integration events they have found and they have reported, and we are working on banana streak Mysore virus in India. And we also have developed transgenic bananas in India that is for containing PVA. With the help of DBT, Department of Biotechnology, we have developed a few lines of PVA lines in Danine banana, as well as iron biofortified transgenic lines we have got in our center, and they are all in BRL1 trial. Then developing a disease resistant through conventional breeding, it's very challenging because of low genetic variability in Musa genome, polyploidy, sterility. This is all a very big problem in male and female sterility there. And that tropical race 4 is the biggest problem in India and everywhere where bananas are grown. And we have identified resistant genes and as well as susceptibility factors, which could be used in genome editing to come out with the resistant genotypes. The Cavendish bananas resistant to tropical race 4, and Lena Tripathi group, they have done knocking out banana streak OL virus in a variety called Gonja Manjaya from Africa. And similarly, we are also working in banana streak Mysore virus in Puvan. And we have good resources and tools, like we have recently developed this database, Musa resistant gene database we have developed. And we have more than 300 banana germ blossoms. It's Asia's biggest germ blossom we have at our center. And we have diploid, triploid, and tetraploid cultivars of indigenous origin. Besides, we have crop wild relatives of around 36 crop wild relatives. And the projects are ongoing to assemble the genome scaffolds of Musa genotypes. And we also use DDRAD approach is employed for SNP identification for accessions, looking for resistance for FOC, and plans to integrate the data ensemble generated from high throughput sequencing methods. And we have also MinION sequences, and we use widely for detection and virus surveillance. And we have, as I said, that Musa Origin database, an online comprehensive database for disease resistance, and which is we have 3,598 origins we have identified. Of course, we have used the Musa genome source from the hub, Banana Genome Hub, and our center is focused to invest in cutting-edge technology such as bioinformatics database, AI-based imaging system, which we have developed for viruses, and also for computer technology for data analysis. In fact, we are enrolled in precision farming of banana, wherein we are looking for drought resistance, as well as looking at fertilizer also we are looking, and our scientific research expertise is interested in molecular diagnosis. In fact, our center has developed good diagnostic kits, which we certified 300 million banana tissue culture plants in India, that's free from viruses as well as to type. And we are already having the alliance with this Alliance Biosecurity International and IATA. And in these projects, we propose to have with CIRAD, Montpellier, the group which is working on banana streak virus, and also DSMZ, that is Braunschweig, Germany. We want to have collaboration with these two groups, along with Alliance Biosecurity International, again in France. Yeah, with this, I thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. One request from our attendees, Akila Chandrasekhar would like to do a flash presentation. Are you able to make that? You've been now promoted to a panelist. Yes, yes, good afternoon. Just have to unmute your mic. You're muted. You're still muted. You need to unmute your mic, sir.
Moment.
Perfect.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. Indeed, it's my pleasure to present our work and our expertise. We are from Yogi Vamana University, Kadapa. It's a rural university in Andhra Pradesh. And basically, we are working in two different aspects. One is foxtail millet, genomics for yield and yield related traits under stress and as well control conditions. And this is the foxtail millet, to whom there is no idea, but we are basically concentrating on the land races, because we assume that land races are good source for allele mining for yield and yield related traits under stress conditions as well. So what exactly we are doing? We are going for a holistic approach with respect to the characterization of the foxtail millet, land races along with the released cultivars, where we have developed our single seed descent method based 20 our own genotypes, and they were cross compared with the released cultivars. And we have taken up morphological, biochemical, and molecular genetic approaches. And also presently we have the mapping populations at real stage, that is F9 stage, the populations are there. So this is the overall how the genetic variation that is present within the land races of the foxtail millet for with respect to the root morphology or color variation, as well as the seed nutrient content. And this is the panicle variation that we have identified and the molecular characterized. And recently our manuscript has been published in Frontiers in Genetics in January issues, January. Further, the same genotypes were characterized in both vegetative stress and reproductive stage stress conditions by evaluating them, how they are responding. And based on the comprehensive data that we have generated, we have taken up the different mapping populations, crossing of the different mapping populations. And for this, this particular parental lines has been sequenced by using derived sequencing methodology. And on an average, we have able to cover 519 MB to 114, 51 MB to 114 MB total genome sequence. And for this instant, we can see the how much diversity it is present among the land races when compared to the cultivars. And this is the informative markers that we have unearthed. And presently, this particular manuscript is and communication to the frontiers as such. And based on this, we have make crosses of this particular parental lines, and we have made 6 different crosses. And the parental lines that we have selected, like black, red, S3G5 and Sri Lakshmi. Sri Lakshmi is being a released cultivar. Black, red, and S3G5 are land races. And we make the biallelic crosses, and we have sequenced the parental lines, all the 4 parental lines. And we are able to identify across the parental lines a minimum of 3.64 lakh SNPs to the 5.47 SNPs. And this is the representation of the mapping population. This is the F2 mapping population, F5 mapping population representatives in the present slide that I'm being shown. And this is the phenotypic variability that we have unearthed with the different stages of the different phenotypic characters. And this is the segregating population, how they are being there is a it shows the clear indication that reallelic variants that are being present in the segregant. And
Mr. Akila, sorry to interrupt. You have 2 minutes more left to wrap up your presentation and maybe share your expertise and maybe any. So, yes,
we are expertise in foxtail millets, and we have our own genetic and genomic resources of the populations. And basically, we are using the whole genome based derived SNPs, and presently the SNPs are being converted into the markers so that we can screen the large mapping populations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you could kindly send your presentation to us, if you like, we can then also upload it on our website. And in that way, you would be visible to potential partners. And if you could stop sharing your screen.
Okay, thank you.
As well. Yeah, thank you so much.
Can I get the email to whom?
Yeah, I will share it to you in the chat in a second. But in the meantime, if you could just stop sharing your screen.
I was.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so with that, I think we are at the end of the flash presentations, and I think it was a very rich and very interesting session. And already we could see in the chat that there are already some kind of partnerships forming, building up, and that's of course very great for us to see that there is a strong interest on these calls, especially on the call today. And I would now invite Dr. Abhishek Singh from the Department of Biotechnology at the International Cooperation Division for concluding this session. Dr. Abhishek, it has been a very, as I said already, a very rich, interesting afternoon. What what do you think?
Hello. My voice is coming?
Yes, your voice is coming, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. So actually, I have again logged in from 2 different systems due to network fluctuations. So today's brokerage event for the DBT-EU Horizon call, which was focused on new detection methods on products derived from new genomic techniques for traceability and transparency and innovation in the food systems, which is going to close on 12th April 2023. As mentioned in the call documents, the focus of this call is for the contribution at the TRL level of 4 to 5 by developing and validating the detection methods. By that, using the genomic techniques, so we can improve the detection methods, and on that basis, the European Union as well as the Indian cross-country and interdisciplinary team building can be done that can provide solutions and in the innovative ways to the betterment of humanity. Because this call, as I have listening various presentations during this brokerage event. So in the initial presentation, as mentioned, that European Green Deal as well as sustainable food systems, along with the farm to fork strategy, which are going and getting ahead for the development of technologies to achieve the sustainable development goals, specifically for sustainable development goal number 1, 2, and 3. That can lead for the sustainable and healthy ecosystems to provide food systems delivery in a better ways for the welfare of humanity. Even the presentation from the Swedish representative as well as for the area presentation, like that was presentation on the scope of call, that were very informative for DBT as well as for the participants also. And further, the Department of Biotechnology is looking to see the proposals on various technologies that can help out in the detection of the grains as well as for the various categories of fruits. Even the current year, which is announced by the UNESCO as the International Year of Millets, and India is presenting as the leading country for the production of millets. So with the diversity of proposals, we are looking forward to get as much as traction in the successful submission of proposals. And we are hoping for the better partnership. And these words are from my side, as well as we are looking to provide help as much as possible for the Indian side applicants. The email ID is already given in the call documents. So if any problem or any clarification is required, they can drop an email on that email ID. We will revert back. Thank you very much for the organizing this event. Special thanks to Dr. Vivek Dham as well as Dr. Samrat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abhishek, for your concluding words and also for indicating the support DBT can give to potential candidates from the Indian side. With this, we come to the end of our brokerage marathon, I would say. Vivek, right? We had 5 very informative and great sessions, and we really now hope that there will be a lot of collaboration and consortium forming happening in the next days and weeks. That the deadlines of this call, but also the previous calls. And there was 11 calls which are open, 6 right now, which we have kind of brokeraged for you. There are 5 more in the coming weeks and months. We will inform you on that. But for now, I would say thank you so much for being here. Big thanks to Dr. Vignam and the EU delegation for steering this brokerage sessions together with the DBT DST Ministry of Earth Sciences. I would like to ask all our speakers now to switch on the camera for a minute so that we can take a family picture of this webinar for our records. Thank you so much, everyone. And let's have a smile for the camera. Okay, I think that's done. And once again, thank you so much, Dr. Abhishek. Thank you for being here throughout the session and all our flash presenters. Good luck to everyone. Wishing you a nice afternoon. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.